Okay? Alright. We're recording the meeting as we always do. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Does anybody need that YouTube channel? Everybody have it? Okay. If anybody doesn't have it, please let me know. Okay. So I'll open it up to questions. So make sure everybody, please keep this link in your favorites so you can always get back here. If anybody's got a Facebook group, you can post that to the Face group. If it's a closed group, I'm okay with you putting the link. Otherwise, I would avoid putting the link up because obviously this is not for the public. This is only for us. So to let everybody know, it's the same link we always use. And same with the YouTube channel. Okay, so you should subscribe to the YouTube channel. That'll make it easier for you to get new videos as they're uploaded. Okay, so let's start with general questions. Anybody have any questions? No questions? Okay, great. Okay. Looks like you're typing. Okay, how do you determine the amount of units you're entering on the sheet? So that would be determined by the property itself, right? Lorena, they would give you that number? Oh, a single family home is always one. Unless you're doing double units, like a ensuite in the basement, or you've rented it out with multiple units. You could do a rooming house as separate doors. Really means separate doors. So if you did a rooming house, if you're renting out 3 rooms, that would be, you could put 3 units. So otherwise a single family home is 1. Now most single family homes are not going to cash flow. Okay, why are they not going to cash flow? Why are single homes not going to cash flow? You can tell me. If you just came on the call, please download the cash flow sheet version 3 and get rid of all of the versions of your cash flow sheet you should get rid of. Just use cash flow sheet version 3. Each time I give you a new version, just throw the other one out. I don't want you to use any of the ones because I don't know if you have errors in them or anything, or the formulas have been changed. So just use this most current one, okay? Money held down for a long period. That obviously can affect the cash flow. It really has less to do about how much money you have in there than the house itself. Why are single family homes not getting cash flow for us? Limited rent, yeah, you're onto it, Grego. Risk of vacancy might mitigate through multi-unit. It will be absolutely through that. But I want you to check. I want you to think about something. Okay, I'm going to put this here. Okay. Now think about this. Okay, if this is the graph of cash flow and properties, and let's say this is the cash flow line. Okay. All right. If properties cash flow above the line, what's going to happen? That's the cash flow line. They're cash flowing. What's going to happen? What does it mean when a property cash flows? What does it fundamentally mean? It does mean profitability, absolutely, Kathy. Think about it. What does that mean for yeah, it's a good deal, absolutely. What's it mean for an owner versus a renter? For property cash flows, what does it mean when you're looking at owner versus renter? What does it mean? So for the renter, it means what? And for the owner, if you're an owner of this property, what does it mean? Equity building, okay. Yeah, you can get equity building. Now think about it. This is the cash flow line. This line right here, right there, is the cash flow line. So if that's the cash flow line here, what does it mean? Meaning, I'll explain it, obviously, in the sense of this, because it doesn't give you a lot of information, but if it's above the cash flow line, that means properties are cash flowing as they are, okay? Monthly income is greater than cost. Excellent, Timothy. Yep, monthly income is greater than cost. That makes this cash flow. Now, if it cash flows, what does it mean versus rent versus owner? What does it mean? What does it mean? It means, so let's look at it. It means that the owner, yep, you're right, Manuel, the owner of this property, right, it costs less to own than to rent. Does everybody get that? Everybody understand that? What that means? So it costs you more to rent a place than to own a place. Now think about that for a second. If it's going to cost you more to rent than to own, what's going to happen to properties in a particular area that are cash flowing? What does it mean? So if it means it costs more to rent, so the big ones are this. Here's the big ones. Well, not necessarily more vacancy, but I see where you're getting with that, I think, son. Look, check this out. Does everybody know what this means? Pity. What does pity stand for? Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Okay? Principal, interest, yeah, manual interest is in there too. Interest, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Why is that important? Because these are all what? Expenses. Right? They're all E. Expenses. They equal expenses. But as an investor, we know that there's three other things that we gotta include, right? What are the other three things we gotta include? So, property management, vacancy, and maintenance. All also equal expenses. Does anybody remember how much of that is considered expenses? In general, what does it take up? A little bit more than that, Dave. All those three things together. A little bit more than that, Jessica. Put all three of those together. It's going to cost you. There you go. 20%. So 20% of what? 20% of cash flow, gross rent. There you go. Gross rent. So 20% of your gross rents are going to come from property management, vacancy, and maintenance. Okay? Now, most people don't include in investing this when they're looking at, say, single family homes. Okay? So even if we don't include that, based on gross rents, if the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance are your main expenses, and it costs you more to rent than to own, that means that the rent covers the principal, the interest, the taxes, the insurance, and still leaves cash flow. If that happens in a marketplace, what's obviously going to happen? Think about it. If renters in an area, it would cost them less to actually own than rent. What's going to happen? They will buy. Excellent. They prefer, exactly. So if they prefer to buy, what happens? What happens to the cash flow? What happens to the market? Yeah, they qualify on January 1st. What happens to the market? But Emmanuel, actually, what's that going to do? We'll come back to that. Remember that question. Yeah, so if properties are more expensive to rent than to own, the market's going to go up. Therefore, your cash flow is going to go down, right? Because your house prices are going to go up. And if the house prices go up, then this is going to reverse. Okay? So the market won't let people buy houses, in general, buy houses in places people want to live, okay, where the rents are more, the rent's going to cost you more to own, because obviously that's going to create an inversion in the market, and people are going to be able to buy. Now, is there areas where there's more people struggling financially to be able to buy houses? Yes. And in areas where you actually, it's people won't qualify, the economy is not strong, it's weak or high unemployment, you will see this. You will see where it costs more to rent technically than it does to own. That's going to happen, right? But that's because why? The economy is not good. So therefore, your quality of renter obviously is going to be less, right? The qualification of that renter. Does everybody understand with what I'm saying here? This making sense to everybody? Good. Yeah, so the market won't let us, and this is what I want everybody to know. Understand this. The market doesn't give anything for free. Okay? If you don't know how to work with the market and take what it gives you when it does change or move, you're going to miss the opportunity. You're going to miss it. So this is why we want multiple strategies, and when approaching real estate, or multiple ways to extract profit from real estate, because the market change. And the market change, every time there's a market change, there's an opportunity. Now let's talk about something that obviously is important to us. Emmanuel was talking about January 1st. What happens January 1st, Emmanuel? But what's happening now? It's actually happened. What's happening now, Emmanuel? Yeah, interest is going to go up. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, yeah, mortgage qualification rates are changing, right? And they've changed already, and they're going to continue to change. Now, when the mortgage qualification rate goes up or changes, what happens to the market? And tighter rules for buyers. Yeah, and this is my view. I don't want to state that this is an ultimate truth. For me, it's my experience and my belief, and it is the truth to me. Whenever the government gets involved, yeah, that could happen too, Emmanuel. But it's more affecting the people that are new buyers. But Emmanuel, at some point, that's going to affect the interest rates. Will affect owners. Because interest rates when they renew. Okay, so when the government gets involved in the market, typically that creates a problem for the market itself, but not for investors. Does anybody want to speculate on that or talk about that? Why would the government get involved directly into the market? And I'm not against any policies or procedures that protect people. I get that. But when they try to actually control the market itself, which is what the government's doing, in a big way, I believe, with the interest rate, with the qualification, what typically happens to the market? Well, the only thing, the biggest thing that the market offers us let's see, to keep the market honest, I guess is the best way I could say it right now. To keep the market honest, there needs to be almost zero predictability, believe it or not, in my view, at least. So, give me 1 second. What I mean by that is this: as soon as the market starts to make changes, like with the qualification, we can start to look at what is that going to create? What's it going to do? What's it going to change? So, does everybody understand what those changes are? What changes are happening in the market? Qualification, at least. So let me do this. So I'm gonna hold on. Let's draw the market. So this is the market. Okay. This is the natural appreciation line. This is how the market, should move, right? Like this, up and down. Okay. Does everybody understand? So this would be money, and this would be time. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this graph? Does everybody understand that? Any questions about it? Now remember, in Canada, typically, over time, our rate in Canada is just under 6%. Okay, that's the appreciation line, that straight line. Okay, that red line it's under 6%. It's roughly 6%. In places like Toronto and Vancouver that have had better, in more recent years, their rate is closer to 7%. Could be just under, just over, depending on the market. It's about 7%. So in a great market, even in an amazing market like Vancouver and Toronto, it's really only 1% higher. And I'm talking over 25, 30 years. Now, if that appreciation line is like that, do we all understand why the market goes up and down? We sort of talked about it in the previous slide. Why? What happens? What's the main? Can anybody tell me what the main reason that goes up by 6%? Anybody want to tell me why it goes up by 6%? What are some of the things that motivate that move? Demand versus supply, yep. Economic cycles, yep, they have effect. Inflation, interest, yep. Insurance, they do, yep. Population can affect that, yeah, the movement. But the 6% itself, what's really pushing up the 6%? You've named some of the things that absolutely have an effect. So appreciation, let me see if I can do it here. So appreciation pretty much equals what? Taxes. These are things we have to pay every year. Taxes, maintenance, what else? Let's put maintenance and insurance together. What else? Taxes, maintenance, insurance, and somebody just said it. Timothy said it, inflation. This is what really causes the 6% increase. Because to own a house, you got to pay that every single year. Every single year, there's a cost for taxes, maintenance, insurance. It's all in there, right? That, right, is going to add up to roughly 6%. Is everybody with me? The movement up and down is absolutely real. That's real, okay? And it's going to go up and down. Okay, we can't stop that, nor should we try to stop it. That's what the market does. Now the government tries to stop it and get involved and tries to make this green line that you see there, the up and down line, and they would love it if that line was straight. They would love it if the line was straight. Okay? Now, because what they don't want is the crashes. They don't like the dips. Now, do governments or municipalities more specifically, do they like it when the market goes up? Why would they like it if the market went up? Yeah, they get more property taxes, and that's how it runs the city. Yeah, more taxes. Exactly. Not so good, though, when it goes down, because then they have to be readjusted. Okay? But a lot of people, or often people, don't challenge their tax assessment. Tax assessments are sometimes old or aged. Typically, they're below market value in a normal market or a healthy market. But sometimes you'll get into a market where the taxes are actually higher than the assessed value is higher than what they have in the tax assessment. Okay, so appreciation equals taxes, maintenance, insurance, and inflation. Those are the main causes of the move. Now, when it gets higher than that, that creates a problem because incomes are going up by what? Incomes are going up by what? 2 to 3% a year. So if your incomes are going up 2 to 3% a year, how can your properties continue to go up 10% a year, or 12% a year, or 15% a year? Who's buying these houses? How can the market even go 6%? Even 6% is a challenge. Even 6% is a challenge. Can create challenges in a marketplace. Versus, and it's not really the 6%, it's the outside investors can create a lift. Also, we call them foreign investors, and I like what you said, Dave, outside investors, because really it's just outside that area. They would be considered outside investors or foreign investors. They don't have to be from another country. The other one is employment. Somebody mentioned that. So employment and population and stuff like that. If there's new money in the system, new money supply coming into the system, that'll push prices up. But eventually, you got to come down because if your incomes are going up to 2 to 3%, then obviously your house prices can't sustain 10, 12, 15% increases. It's not possible. Eventually, it has to come down because houses are mostly lived by the people who live in that municipality, that area. When the government gets involved and says, look, this is too high. This is too high. Right here is too high. This is too high. We need to bring it down. So they try to work with tools they have to bring the market down and bring it down. What they like to do is bring it down softly. So just to give you an example of what the government would like to see is this. When the market's high, okay, so let's write that down here. When the market's high like this, that's ugly. Okay. When the market moves like this, right? So there's the line, right? But for some reason, the market starts going, woo. What they want, what they would like to see is this. They'd like the market to stop going up and just kind of go sideways until it meets the inflation, the regular 6%. That's what they'd like to see, right? Instead of what? Instead of this. Boom. Right? And that's what will happen if property values or the values of a particular market just keep rising. It's not sustainable. It's impossible. So what they try to do is put in policies that will force the market, or hopefully move the market in more of a sideways movement, hoping that it'll meet that line. That's what they like to see. That's a soft landing for them, or slightly down. Slightly down, but they don't want it to go down. They just don't want it to continue to go up, because obviously it's unsustainable with the appreciation levels. So the government currently is trying to use higher qualifications to do a couple things. They like to see the market cool, but also, what are they anticipating? If the government says to you, these are some things that we're kind of going inside their mind or inside their head. What is the government basically saying to us with this new policy? Well, they're saying, look, if the mortgage rate is 3%, right? That's the rate that people are wanting to give you a mortgage. We're not going to let you qualify at this. We want you to qualify at the bank rate. And the bank rate is going to be 2% on average, 2% higher than the competitive rate, the rate that they're willing to give you at your bank. So they want to qualify you at 2%. 2% higher. Now, what would that mean? What do you think that means? Why would the government do something like that? Anybody speculate? Anybody ideas? Why do you think the government would want to, ask people to start qualifying for their higher rate? Slow down buyers, yeah, it'll do that. That'll bring the market, at least slow the market. What else will it do? Now this is, it seems bad, right? When they do something like this, it seems like it's going to make it a lot harder for people, but it's only really for new buyers. If you're an existing buyer, you can just requalify your bank or your institution, and you don't have to go through that. But if you change lenders, you possibly would have to go through that, right? So let's see. Outside, okay, in case rates go up, yep. So the rates going up, slow down buyers, yep. Reduce ratios, yep. Harder to buy a home, yep. And John, yep. Timothy, yep. From St. John's, expecting interest to go up in the future. Yes, interest rates going up into the future. They're trying to prepare people for that, at least the new buyers. Now, when the government gets involved, right? Unfortunately, when the government gets involved, typically in markets, it creates an opportunity for market manipulation, believe it or not. Anybody paying more than 20% down will go through the high interest rates stress test, 4.89, which was the change October 2007. Okay, thank you very much. Excellent. So whatever the bank rate, I believe it's the bank rate plus 2% or the bank rate, whichever one is higher. So if it's 4.89 is the calculation, then I'm going to believe you. You'd obviously easily get that information by checking with your bank or institution that you're dealing with. Now these are for the banks and the institutions. Okay. Now what's this going to do? What's this going to do to the market? What will this do to the market? Well, what do we know is going to happen to the market? Or we believe is going to happen to the market? It's going to go down, yep. Could go down a little bit, yep. Hopefully they don't want it to go real down, but yeah. For us, that'd be fine. We'd be fine. We just stabilize is what they're hoping for. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to stabilize the market, but they'd like it to see stabilize or slightly go down. They'd be okay. They don't want it to go down at all. They'd like it to go sideways, but they want it to stop going up, really, is the big thing. Okay? Now, by them doing that, the unhealthy buyers will have to reduce their budget to qualify. Now, what will that do to the marketplace in the way of relationships between lenders and buyers? It could mean to see opportunities for rent-to-owns. Excellent, Dave. Absolutely. What's that going to do? What would that do with the relationships with lenders and buyers? What new opportunities or new things are we going to see or new trends we possibly could see? New problems to solve. Absolutely, John. That's why every time they do these things, we love it. More people using, B lenders or private money. Yeah, Grego, yeah. More second mortgages possible. Yeah, son. These are good. Yes. More people will rent. Yeah, we could see absolutely, Jessica. We're going to see a shift to renting because people can't qualify. Okay? Absolutely. Now, this is what's interesting. If more people are renting, what's going to happen to the rental market? It's going to go up. Absolutely. So if income goes up, what's going to happen to house prices? Yeah, more demand. What's going to happen to house prices? If more people are renting and it's costing people more to rent, what's going to happen to house prices? Up, down, or sideways? Yeah, we're actually going to see probably a little bump because more people are renting. And that bump might last 12 months. I don't know if it can last 18 months or 24 months, 2 years, but we'll probably see a little bump possibly with, with house prices because there's more renters. But eventually, what's going to happen? Eventually, right? That's going to roll over, right? Because eventually, the new buyers not buying is going to create a downward pressure on the market because less people are being qualified. So these are going to fight each other. These two areas will fight each other, and the overall house prices is going to win that battle long term. Okay, so we're going to see house prices start to really come under strain, huge strain. Now, when we're looking for opportunity, Dave brought it up. Rent to own is going to be an opportunity. We're going to see house prices going down, and in this little area here, there's going to be an opportunity for buy and hold or cash flow properties, because this, for a period, and it's really going to be down here, we're going to see properties with the ability to possibly cash flow because of this change. That's going to happen in some markets. But if we know that the government is going to make it harder for people to borrow, what we're going to see is the B lenders come in, the private lenders come in, and we also might see, for the average person, I don't want you to worry about it because we're different, we're sophisticated investors, but we can work with this. We could see interest rates for those lenders going up. We could see interest rates going up from those lenders because if people want to buy the house, they're not going to be as tough on the qualification part of it, but they might ask for more interest, right? That we might see that also. That being said, these are the fighting. We might see it go down. Can anybody tell me why it might go down? Why could interest rates go down for private and B lenders? So if everybody clamors to these B lenders and these private lenders, the rates might go up because there's less money from the banks being issued. So they're gonna definitely take advantage of that. But at some point, what's gonna happen? As soon as the market recognizes an advantage, what does it do? It takes it away. So if they're making more money on interest, more people are going to come into the market and start being lenders, hard money lenders. If there's more people coming into the market to be hard, competition, and competition creates what? A downward pressure. So we could see rates actually going down, right? Because there's more lenders out there. So you always see these competing kind of opportunities when we see change. This particular change is going to create overall some of the big things, right? It's going to create a downward pressure on the market. For us, that's good. We believe most properties overpriced anyways. So that's going to be good for us, and it gives us an opportunity for cash flow. That being said, we need to be more creative in our own investing when it comes to financing, and bring in the opportunity for joint venture partnerships, private money. We need to get on top of that too, to access that new money that's going to be coming into the market, or at least the new money that's going to be accessed because of those changes in here, right? That being said, it's important for us again to come back and look at the marketplace itself, and what we're going to see, or what we should recognize more specifically, is, let me see. We want to revisit cap rate. Okay. So cap rate. Let's revisit that for a second because I think it's important here. So cap rate. The market normal cap rate is sitting around what? Normal cap rate. What's the normal cap rate? So 5 to 6, 3 to 4, yeah. Depending on the market, all those answers can be right. Absolutely. So normal cap rate is going to run between 2 and 4%, or 2 and 4 for cap rate. Okay. So everybody remember what cap rate is. So cap rate is ROI on total value. Okay? So what does that mean? Alright? Raphael, I wish it was 8. That would be awesome. It would be great. And in some places, maybe out east, you might see rates in that area. But that usually means what? If cap rates are 8, what does that usually mean? When cap rates start exceeding 2 to 4%, what does it typically mean? So here we go. Here's cap rate. So here's cap. Okay. This is the line for cap. Okay. Let's look here. If cap rates are, say, 3. When cap rates go this way, what does it mean? And when it goes this way, what does it mean? So if cap rates go up, what does it mean? So cap rates go up, you will have positive cash flow. More cash flow is right. But Timothy's got a good point there. Low rental opportunity typically, right? Low rental opportunity. And more specific, I don't know about low rental opportunity. Maybe that's the best way for us to say that, Timothy. Maybe less quality renter. Housing prices are lower, more people will be owners. Yeah, we'll see that. But I want you to imagine going to a place where they have higher than 3, maybe there's 7 or 8 cap rates. What does that typically mean? Why would the cap rate be so high? Because remember what that means. What does it mean? On the surface, it means owners. It costs you less to own than to rent, right? Means cash flow, right? Now, why would the market allow an area to have that? Why would the market allow an area where the income is greater than the expenses? And I'm talking about including principal, interest, taxes, insurance. Now, the other ones that we talked about, that's one that you have to include. And in this case, it's kind of important. But we'll get that. Why would the market allow that? Because the market won't allow, because if cap rates are 7, 8, 9, 10%, what typically is going to happen to the housing market, right? If it costs you more to rent than own, we already said, more people are going to what? They're going to be owners. They're going to be owners. The renters are going to become owners. When it costs you more to rent than own, you're going to become an owner, right? When the market has got a high cap rate, natural cap rate, or more specifically the cap rate of that particular market period, why wouldn't we see people rush in and push the cap rate down? Because prices would go up, right? If there's a high cash flow opportunity area, all the investors are going to go there, and they're going to push prices up, and then the cap rate's going to come back to that normal 3%. Typically in higher cap rate areas, Dave, it's actually the opposite. Rents are typically lower. There could be higher rent areas. Dave, that happens in areas where new industry or new business comes in. The rents might be really high for a period, but if it's a very vibrant area, what's going to happen, Dave, to the market? Housing prices, right? If the rents are high and it's a good area, yeah, they're going to go up. They're going to go up. You saw this in Fort McMurray, right? Fort McMurray was a gold mine for a few years, and then it collapsed, right? It was a tent town, really, at one point. I mean, people just worked up there. Then they built the whole city community from there, and unfortunately, it suffered from the oil plunge in prices. But let's look at out east. Out east, the cap rates are going to be higher than 3. Why? And why is it sustainable? Why do the cap rates stay in that, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10? Why would the market allow that to happen? What must not be happening? If the cap rates are still high, what does it mean? What does it mean if the cap rates are high? It means it cash flows. But if it can hold the high cap rate for a while, what's not happening that typically would happen? When cap rates are high, typically what? Prices go up for houses because they cash flow, right? That means renting is more expensive than owning. So all of a sudden, ownership goes up. If ownership goes up and there's more people buying, prices are going to go up. But in an area where the cap rates are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 even, and they don't go down, it means what's not happening. Yeah, the prices will go up. Yep. If the cap rates are 7, 8, 9, 10, there you go, Raphael, you got it. Maybe people are not interested in buying. Now, why would people not be interested in buying, Raphael? You're right. Why in an area, if the cap rates are good, why aren't they buying? Because typically the market won't let you stay that way, right? Because the market says, no way, you're not getting a free ride. No work may be good. High interest, Jessica, that could come into play. It could. For risk associated with those properties, that's possible, actually. But Dave, I think the big thing Dave's saying right there, no work. If the unemployment is low, then cap rates are higher. Why? See, it looks like the market's not adjusting, but it actually is. It's doing it in a different way. So instead of the market, see, the market would typically say, hey, you want to buy this house, this area, the profit is there, we're gonna push prices up. Cap rates are gonna go back to around 3%, which is basically really break even. Maybe a small loss. Break even. That's how it works. So when a market is going, if the market has high cap rate, and so high cap, the only way you can sustain the high cap, right, for a long period of time is what? Remember what we're talking about? PITI, right? PITI, right? That's all expense. So what are the other ones? So if the cap rate, say, is 7 to 10, or even it could be 5 to 10, really. There you go. So property management, vacancy, and maintenance. So in these areas, and this equals what typically? 20%, right? 20% of gross income. So if the prices are not going up, which is usually covered here, right? Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. What must be higher in these areas typically? If the expense is not coming from principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, because the cap rate is 7 to 10, so that means they're profitable, right? It'd look like they're profitable, right? So principal, interest, taxes, insurance is not really changing in these areas. There's still principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. In fact, they might be a little bit lower in this area. So how is it that the market, all these other investors are not rushing in to buy up these properties? Why aren't they buying up these properties? Well, the cap rate is not real. Why isn't it real? There you go, vacancy. So the problem becomes vacancy, maintenance, and property management. Instead of it being 20%, it could be as high as what? 30 or even 40% of your gross. You see that? Everybody understand that? So it looks like these are cash cows, right? And they do include it, actually. Like, I mean, when you're calculating, obviously, Dave, we're going to include it. But when they look at the 7 to 10 cap rate, what are they always making the assumption? What are they making the assumption? Well, they're making the assumption, or, when it's listed or put to you, well, they included, Dave, that, you know what, when you start getting the commercial, they will include, but you're right, Dave, they try to hide that stuff more in these areas we see, but at worst, they're saying, well, we're at the 20%, but really, they're not at the 20%. This 7 to 10 cap rate is really calculated with vacancy at 0, property management at 10, maintenance at maybe 1%, right? That's what they're calculating it, right? So when we see 7 to 10, we put it through our sheet. Our sheet only counts for 5% vacancy, right? And if our sheet only counts for 5% vacancy, it'll look good. Until what? Until we find out that the property is half empty. That the property is in a community where there's high unemployment. Right? So there's a problem with quality of renters, right? That the areas there's many areas that are government subsidized housing, or the government's paying the bill, right? Now that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying these are bad things. I'm just saying the cap rate might look good, but the reason the cap rate is staying at this area, or able to sustain this 7 to 10, is because there's a higher vacancy, there's a higher typically management fee and property management. These things cost us higher. It could be because of the quality of the property management, quality of the property for maintenance, and vacancy because of the economy. Because if these things were normal, property management, vacancy, and maintenance, if they were at a normal rate, what would happen to this market? What would happen? What happened to house prices? They'd go up. They'd go up. Did everybody see that? So why am I telling you all this, and why is it important for us to know? Okay? The reason I want you to know this is this. Okay? At the end of the day, the market's not going to give it to you for free. Okay? It doesn't work. That's not real. That's the property. Property is a great business to be in. But it's not a business that the market's just going to let anybody profit it. It's not going to let anybody just, I buy a house and I make money. The market doesn't work like that. That's not real. That's fantasy, in my view. Absolutely. And there's all the evidence points to that. If you want to be profitable in real estate, you need to understand that property itself, all right, is not how we make money. Right? The intrinsic value of that property, for us, in our view, is zero. The way we make money in real estate is how? Well, we understand the structure. And we understand how to take money, push it through real estate to make more money. That's how we make money in real estate. The property itself doesn't really make us money. The market won't allow people to simply buy property and keep it and make money, over a long period of time, automatically. It's not. Now, you could buy a property and sell it at a higher point in the market. You could do that. But nobody knows, excuse me, nobody knows when the market's going to go up or down. Anybody tells you that they know when the market's going to go up and down, you should run. Nobody knows the answer to when it's going to happen. Now, we know it's going to go up, down, and sideways. We just don't know when. For us, we like the fact that that's a variable, right? We like the fact that nobody can tell us that. Because if they could tell us that, there would be no money in real estate. There'd be no opportunity. If the line was straight for real estate, if it was a straight line, the 6% line was straight, there'd be no money in real estate. It's the actual change in real estate and the things around real estate, this change, that gives us opportunity. So when the government gets involved with policies trying to manipulate in their way or control the market, typically that creates problems for the market. It's the lack of predictability that keeps the market healthy. Too much predictability can create manipulation. Because then people know what the government is doing, or those proposed policies. One of the big challenges of the United States when it collapsed was the push for the United States government to get everybody to buy a house, or a higher portion of their population to own property. So when the government starts creating, it's one thing to say it, but when the government starts creating policies to ensure that home ownership goes up, what are they going to do? Well, inevitably, to make that work, what are they going to have to do? Well, they're going to have to make it easier for people to get mortgages, right? So that happened for several years, and to the point where it progressed to subprime mortgage holders, right? Subprime meaning they're not prime candidates for the mortgage. They're not. Their credit might not be as good. Their income might not be as good. In fact, in the United States, many institutions were found to be giving ninja loans. Does anybody know what a ninja loan is? Anybody know what a ninja loan is? No? They called them ninja loans because there was no income, no assets. No income, no assets. No income, no assets. That's real. That's real. Dave, it's real. I'm not kidding, that's real. No income, no assets. They were giving people loans with no income, no assets. No verification. Like some digital. Well, the loan was real, Dave. That's the problem. The loan was real. The loan was real, but the person getting the loan, I mean, their qualification was. It wasn't. That's the part that wasn't real. That's. You know what's crazy? Let me tell everybody this. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. You know. And the thing with what you're doing now, you are getting yourself prepared for those crazy things that happen in the market where you're going to have an opportunity to profit like no other average person could, you know. So that will happen again where money loosens, when the market goes down and they need the housing prices to go up, they need the economy to be stimulated. Interest rates will go down. They'll increase the money supply, allow more money to be in the system to get people to buy and consume, and then we'll see what happens when that happens again. Typically, though, it takes a while. After a crash, you know, it's not until we forget the crash, till everyone's forgotten the crash and stops believing that it can crash again, is when it crashes again. So that usually takes a while. That usually takes a while for people to forget. So the big thing I want you to get from this is understanding that the market itself is not going to hand us those great opportunities. We're going to have to go out and get them. And for us to do that, we got to recognize that the real skill that you're learning here, the real skill that Legacy is providing to you, and what we're discussing every week, is the ability for what? Who can sum it up in a couple words? Who can tell me? What's the big thing that we're learning? That you're learning that really, I can't even tell you what it's worth. I can't even measure it. So valuable. Anybody want to take a guess? Yep. You're right. Give me a name for it. Can you give me a name? What's that stand for? It's not cash flow. I know it stands for cash. Financial education, yeah. But tell me what you're learning through your financial education. Yep, these are all right. But what does CF stand for? Anybody? That's all right. If you don't know, it's all right. What's CF stand for? I know it stands for cash flow, but not in this case. There you go. Dave's got it. Creative financing. The thing that you're learning that's going to blow you past the average person in a big way, all right, is exactly that. Creative financing. Creative financing. Okay? That's what the average individual, unfortunately, doesn't have. Is creative financing. You understand this concept, okay? Because of creative financing, okay? Because what's the game we're really playing here? Can anybody tell me what's the real game? It's not the real estate game, it's the what? Who can tell me? What's the real game? Yeah, it's the money game. Timothy, excellent. It's the money game. The real game we're playing here is the money game. The money game. That's the real game we're playing here. The money game. It's not real estate, it's the money game. And if you can understand the money game, then things can change fast in your life. You know, and you definitely at least can get on the path to change when you understand money. That reminds me, we need to chat about what course I should take. Oh, yeah, no worries, Dave. No worries. Okay, so we're wrapping up. We have about 3 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions about what we covered or anything else? Everybody got that cash flow sheet, yes? That new one? Anybody that joined late, please grab this new cash flow sheet I have in the top right corner. Okay, cash flow version 3. I want you to delete all the other versions. Cash flow version 3. This is the one I want you to use moving forward. Okay? Also, can everybody please get your favorites, put in the YouTube channel, and put in this link to your favorites so you always know how to get there. Please do that also. Now, next week is holidays. Okay? The holidays. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back. We're going to take the 26th and the 2nd off. Okay? And what we're going to do is start up on the 9th. The 9th. Okay? Can anybody who is working with a group with the Facebook, please let them know that everybody's post that up that we're starting on the 9th. Now, if something comes up during that period, obviously you can reach out to me. Okay? Obviously. Weekends and evenings are okay, but weekends and holidays, obviously, we'd like to keep that quiet. But if you do, you can email me. Just the response is going to come a couple days after. Okay, 24 to 48 hours typically is it. If you have a challenge, you're trying to reach me, and you can't reach me for any reason, please text or call. I'm totally cool with that. I want to make sure that you're supported and you have the information you need to move forward. Sam, the cash flow sheet, how can you input 20% down payment and 80%? So this is what I did, Grego. This sheet here you can. This new sheet. So you can put the down payment in. This is the latest one right there, Jan. Cash flow sheet version 3. So if you open up cash flow version 3, you'll be able to put a down payment number. You can change the numbers. I allowed you to change the numbers, some things. I opened some things up for you. And I made sure the numbers were matching. And I was getting concerned and worried, and when I was getting sheets back and forth, I think I got some sheets where the numbers were changed. And I hope I didn't give anybody one of those. If I did, my apologies. The main thing is to use this cash flow sheet version 3. The one thing I will add over the holidays for you is I'm going to add a retail line. A retail line. And what this will do is, based on the market cap rates, based on the cap rates of an area, it'll give you the retail value range, the retail value of the properties. Everybody understand that? Anybody have any questions about that? When I say that, does everybody understand what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do is this. When we run our numbers now, a couple things we're going to do. We're going to have a line that says, okay, we're going to have purchase price. We're going to have, okay, our price. But also, I'm going to add a line. It's not very pretty. I'm going to add a line. Give me 1 second. Oh my gosh, what are you doing this to me now? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Okay. Alright, let's try this again. Sorry, my screen kind of went crazy there with shape and size. Here we go. Alright, so let's just get a new share real quick before we wrap up. So the new sheet is going to have, obviously it's going to have all the numbers, okay? Also going to have add to it. So let's do this again. So we're going to have purchase price, okay?
price. We're going to have our price, so investor price, call it. Investor value, okay? But I'm also going to have market value. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, I'll explain that when we get there. But this way, what you'll see is the purchase price is 100K, okay? Our investor value will be, say, 80K. But I'm also going to want to see market value might be 110K. Does everybody see that? Everybody understand that? Market value is like, it's like getting comparables, all right? Now, let me keep this in mind. Market value is going to be driven by, we'll talk about it in the new year, farming. So if you know that the cap rate, the normal cap rate in an area is 3%, that's what's going to drive this price. If it's 4%, that's what's going to drive this price. But at least you'll be able to start tracking this, because even though this doesn't look good to us, let's say this isn't working, this might look good. Where the market value is higher than the purchase price, which gives us opportunities like what? Maybe it's not a buy and hold, but it could be a what? Rent to own. Excellent. What else? Flip. Excellent. Absolutely. Flip. Could also be a what? Wholesale. Excellent, John. That's absolutely right. Assignment. Yeah. So I want the sheet to do more first in the way of the opportunities. The other thing I want to cover in the new year is we're going to go through the process of an actual offer. I'm going to give you clauses in an actual contract that Adnan's going to work it on for me to present to you that you guys will all be able to have. Okay, I'll give you a contract that you can use with clauses in it that you can use. That being said, I want you to check out with a lawyer, but this one has been checked out by my lawyer. Still, you check it out with yours to make sure you're following the rules and regulations of the particular province or area that you're in. But this one will have the clauses that we can use ongoing with your offer to purchase contracts, okay? So that's something I want to do for the new year too, okay? Early in the new year. So in January, let's get some things done. I want to get some offers out. With people starting to put out offers and get some activity going, and let's make our new year the best year so far for our investing. All right, excellent. Any questions? Excellent. Any questions? Everybody good? Everybody's got the sheet, right? The cash flow sheet. Everybody's got it, right? I'm getting rid of it. Everybody's got it. Okay, good. That's gone. All right. Any questions before we close up? If you're good, type in yes or, oh, you didn't? You did not. Right. Okay. Well, set that up again. Right there, my friend. See it? Okay. I want everybody to get this. I want everybody, obviously, to have a great holiday. I want you to have a great time, celebrate, get excited about the new year, and spend time with the people that are important to you, family, friends, and your community. If you can get out and do some community service that would be awesome. I'm planning to do some stuff myself. I think it's good to, a little bit of time, if possible, to help some other people out. So if you have the opportunity to go out, maybe simple stuff. Soup kitchen, or maybe you can sponsor people for Christmases. Anything that you can do that you can actually manage would be awesome. It's important for us to be givers. We get what we give in life. I truly believe that, and I think it's important for us to live by our actions, right? If we want to be a better person, we gotta do more. So, thank you very much, everybody. I'm very excited about the new year. For my family and for myself, and of course for you. I'm very excited to start seeing some big deals coming in through for you. January 9th, yep. And I want you to give yourself a break. on those days from real estate. Okay, this holiday season, you got to take some days to your family, your friends, your community, for yourself, and let real estate. Let's keep working towards real estate, obviously, but remember why we're doing this is so we have a better life. So let's live that better life. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to close it up. Health and prosperity. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? We're wrapping up. If you're good, type in yes or why. There you go. My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. Awesome. Raphael, did you get the file? You got the file okay? Everybody got the file okay? There you go. Excellent. Awesome. All right, everybody. You have a great rest of the week. Good hunting. Looking for those properties, and have a great holiday season. And I will see you all in the new year. Happy New Year.